Hi guys, Frank here. Hey look, if you're looking at this video, it means you've probably got some sort of interest in our 2-day project management workshop. This is a foundation course, and it's really all about projects that flow. That's what we're trying to get you to. I thought it'd just be useful to give you a little bit about my background and why we developed the workshop, and then what's in it, but most importantly, what's in it for you. So I've had my business for since 1998, so a few years now. Prior to that, though, I'd worked out of university. I worked at the Ministry of Energy, and we got lots of good training there. I worked at Shell for 5 years, got a lot of training there, and then worked at Transpower for 3 years as their contracts manager. So lots of background in negotiating and all that sort of stuff, and that then led into procurement and project management, and they sort of all go together, those three topics. So nowadays I just have a vision for my company, and that's a world where the good guys win. I just want to see good people working with good people, and so a key factor to that is a thing that we came up with in about 2014, and that is the new paradigm. So the new paradigm is really collaborative, courteous, and considerate. And so that's collaborative being, hey, just the best brains working together to get the best outcomes. Courteous being, hey, respect without rank. And then considerate is, just think of others when how would you like to be treated? So we weave that right through everything. It's the foundation for how we make our projects and our procurement projects work. And we find the better we do that, the better it goes. So probably like me, you just sort of got thrown into projects. You're probably doing projects various scales and sizes, and you may not have had any training at all. I was lucky. I got some really good training way back there at the Ministry of Energy, actually. And so, but as we've gone along, new things develop, new challenges come up, and so as they do, we just work our way around them. And every time we do that, that's a new technique. That's where we build that back into the training. So the effects of all that on you are, one of our things I learned on one of the courses I was on was we had a leading expert on the world on stress, and get this stuff wrong and the stress is pretty high. And he said two things about stress. One is it'll make you miserable, and the other is it'll make you die younger. And so, part of that stress thing is, and I guess check off how many of these relate to you, sleepless nights, endless meetings, buried in paperwork and politics, overwhelmed, paralyzed, maybe even feeling like an imposter. I hope no one finds out about how bad I am at this. Feeling isolated and on your own, and burnt out. So none of those are good for you. And I guess where we want to just head is, projects that just flow. That word flow is a really good one. You're in control. Modern collaborative methods that just work. They work in practice. They're not theory. And projects that delivered on time, within budget, and deliver the outcomes. That's fundamentally what project management is about. But also this is about career-proofing yourself and your skills. These things are highly sought after. You get good at this stuff and you become the go-to pro. So we're really going to focus on collaborative models and how to make them work in practice. Some of the problems we see with people doing projects, they just don't know where to start. Fundamentally, it's like, where do I start? They've got nothing, no techniques, no tools, no processes. And then, they just sort of go along winging it and not really planning it. It's sort of, they call it by the seat of the pants. And we find when you do that, you normally just end up with burnt pants. And then, their projects for some reason are behaving badly. Well, hello, what do you expect? A big part of it is getting all that front end part done. And we'll talk about one of the books that, I've really learned a lot of in recent years, called How Big Things Get Done. We're going to focus in on that on the training. But he says, think slow, act fast, so get your real planning done first. And my phrase for that is, you're going to pay a price somewhere, you might as well pay it up front while we're still friends. So we've got to get some smart thinking foundations. That's the first thing we'll teach in the workshop. And then from that, we'll give you some tools to set up and plan the project. So you end up with, trusted project roadmap. And then, how do you deliver them well? So confident project delivery, that's where we're heading. What do we do to do that? Well, we've got a thing called the Mindset Tool Belt to get that thinking part right. A bunch of tools in there. Some of them I invented, some of them I've got off other people, other consultants, other books I've read. So we'll get the best of that for you. Then the strategy builder, that's a technique I learned back in my days at Shell. It's really good. It's good for developing a strategy if something goes wrong, but also if something you've got an opportunity. It's a really fast technique. Then we've got a thing in the planning phase called the Right Track Workshop. I'm pretty proud of this because I invented it. And so there's a handful of things I've invented. Most of them I've just copied off someone else, but this is one of mine. And it's just what we do at the front end of projects. We do this every time. We've done literally hundreds of them. We have an online version as well as an in-person version. In-person does work better, I must say, but we've done them with boards, we've done them with councillors, we've done them with senior leadership teams, we've done them with project teams of all sorts and types. And it's just about getting a whole lot of information quickly so we can work out how best to do the project. From that, we have a thing called the planning jam session. This is a really cool technique. And you know, again, a lot of the stuff's using post-it notes and flip charts. In the training workshop, we actually get 4 projects, and we, or 3 or 4, depending on how many people in the workshop be, but we then walk them through that Right Track workshop and planning sessions on their projects. So that the people in the workshop get to use their projects. They get, well, some of them do, but we get to see real projects when we try and get a mix of types, and you know, gives them some real world experience straight away. Then we've got some things, you know, in project management, you've got to deliver the project if you're the project manager, but you've got to do it using the team. And so we've got some really good stuff in there around the how to make the team more effective. Another one of them in the area of the Collaborator Accelerator. It's another one of my inventions. Really cool little technique. So from there, it's just, you know, the mission control panel. So with the workshop, you get a workbook that goes with it. It's got a whole lot of background information in it. It's got a whole lot of reference material, but we also give you a bunch of templates. They're sort of ones that I've created, and it's just like knock your socks off. You can have those too. But there's also follow-up if you need it. So that's the workshop. That's what we're going to cover. And I guess the thing for you guys is looking at this sort of thing, you know, should I do it? Should I not? Just where are you, you know, like on each of these things, green being, yep, I'm pretty good at that, yellow being, I'm a bit okay, and red being, yeah, like, I'm pretty awful. You know, so the whole mindset thing where you're on that. Similarly, what do you know, where do you rank if you're looking at how do you build strategies? You know, how do you get all information ready to plan a project well? How do you get it together quickly? How do you do your planning? You know, are you doing planning? That'd be a good start. Then, you know, the team turbocharge, you know, what sort of tools and things have you got to make your team go better? And then lastly, how are you controlling the whole thing? How are you tracking, reporting, managing risks and all that sort of stuff? So that's what we're about. You know, if you want any more information on this, or if you want to take it further, just click the link down below, and I'd really dearly love to see you at one of our workshops one day. And you know, we can pass on this thing, you know, these techniques and things for you. It's none of it's theory, it's all built on real world stuff. So hopefully we'll see you there, and just click below if you want more information.